Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Transformational Storytellers show. It is a beautiful Thursday morning, and we're here with a dear friend and amazing creator and influencer, Dr. Robert Gatis. And I will tell you something about Rob. That's what I call him, or Dr. Gatis. He's the founder of Reality by Design, and he is known online as your reality doctor. We're going to talk about that a lot more. He's the originator of the quantum light visioning, and he practiced naturopathy for 36 years. That's insane. I cannot believe that. So, as the reality doctor, he teaches aligning the minds, plural, to create a new reality in any area of our lives. Hi, Dr. Gatis.
Hi, Elena. I think we are freezing a little, but that's okay.
Uh,
I'm having to laugh because, as you
yes.
know, I'm in a home that's over 100 years old, and this morning I noticed it's 55 degrees in here. So if I start to do this, you'll know why.
Yes, so we're freezing in many ways here.
Yeah, well,
Oh
that's okay.
my gosh. Well, I'm sending you a very warm hug, and I'm really excited about all of the wisdom that you have to share with our audience because I know that every time I connect with you, I learned something amazing. And I really like to soak in all the wisdom that you have to share about the minds. And I am really grateful to have had the opportunity, for the past few years to work with you and that you're an author in the gifts of pain. So, before we continue, because this is the storytelling show, would you actually share your story with our audience?
I would be honored. The name of the chapter is From Reality Dating to Reality Doctoring. What's wrong with me? I thought. A 61-year-old man lying in bed in the dark, looking at the ceiling. It was 1 a.m., and I had just come home from a date, feeling rejected and very much alone. The dating site said she was legally separated, but soon I found out that her husband didn't know this, and neither did her lover. Why was it so hard to find a compatible partner? Contemplating my fate, I started to laugh. On a conscious level, I wanted a relationship. However, when my marriage ended 12 years earlier, my heart hurt so badly that I didn't think I could live through it. I hurt for myself, my kids, and even my ex-wife. I never wanted to experience that hurt again. And this was the key. As a naturopathic doctor for decades, now retired, I knew that the prime directive of the subconscious mind is to keep us emotionally safe. It also uses emotional logic rather than rational logic. When our subconscious mind is in protection mode, it makes sure that we're only attracted to potential partners who are unavailable to us. If there's no possibility of a relationship, then there's no chance of being hurt. By using mind technologies, I removed limiting beliefs about women and relationships from my subconscious mind, and I installed new positive beliefs in alignment with what I desired. And guess what? I attracted a woman that I could and did have a satisfying relationship with. Now, as the reality doctor, I teach people how to, quote, doctor their reality by aligning the subconscious with new conscious choices so they can feel more alive energized, and fulfilled in all areas of life.
Wow, 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 wow. Whew. I was tearing up, and I have read that story, and we collaborated in that story, but it just hits hard. And I'm sure it has hit hard for many people listening. And I could feel just the heaviness of it, because I think whether it's merely a friendship when we're a child, or a romantic relationship, or even a friendship as an adult, we've all experienced that sense of loneliness, and maybe that something is wrong with us, and we find ourselves alone and misunderstood. And so that hit really hard, and also you're suffering in understanding that you didn't want to go through this pain again. But I want to dive deeply, because I want to honor you for sharing this painful story, and also for sharing the gift that you learned from it. And so I really resonated with so many pieces of it, and I know that this is a universal experience, and so you have a universal solution for everybody. And I'm so deeply grateful that you're going to share a little piece. I mean, I know that you share through your speaking and through your blog and through your videos and your programs. But thank you for taking the time to come today and share it here. And my question is always going to be, as a follow up to this, why share your story? Because there's a lot of stigma, right, that we hear about, and especially with divorce and the dating scene, there's so much shame and stigma, and there are so many questions up in the air. So why do you feel it's important for you to share that story, but for everyone to also share their story vulnerably like you did?
The one thing that I've learned many things, and Alana, back at you. I mean, you already know how I feel about you and what the work we've been doing. My life changed in my practice and in my life when I realized that nothing really ever happens to me. If anything, it's by me. Okay. And people can have a different opinion on this, but I began to realize that my patients were creating their own reality. And
Mm-hmm.
part of my job was to find out how they were doing it, and then give them an option to change how they were doing that. So I realized that when we talk about our story, and that's what people do when you go to a doctor, right? What do? You tell your story. They ask, how long have you had it? Does it radiate somewhere? Do you have a rash? Whatever else it is. But that doesn't tell you how it actually originated. And all it does is tell you how you can manage it.
Mm.
And there's a huge difference there. So our stories reflect our reality that we're creating and continue to create, mainly on the subconscious level, uh, which is the emotional or feeling level. So I realized that being a pracademic, and you know how I define that, if you have facts, they don't mean anything unless you make them a practical thing. Our stories are a continuing feedback of what we're actually creating. So when you tell stories about transformation, which is why we're doing this anyway,
Yeah.
it allows us to entertain the possibility that we can move from one state to another. And the story system that you've created is all about the possibility of transformation. I mean, the avatar that we tend to do or look at is the person who empathizes with your story. Not everybody may empathize with the story, but I'll guarantee there are lots of men out there who are empathizing with me if they're listening at the moment with that story there.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it very personal for them, right?
Absolutely.
Your story of transformation now becomes their own possible transformation story.
Mm.
And that's huge. So, what I've known you for what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
And this story system is really quite genius because you can use it in almost anything you do. You can use it in little terms, or you can take it to a TEDx talk, I guess, if you want to call it that. And you know, I call you a genius, and apparently I like to hang out with geniuses because I learn stuff. But
Same.
you're also heart-centered, and your passion for what you do and your mission in life, it's infectious. And that's something for a doctor to say, you know. It's that's to say that you infect me is kind of an interesting statement, but it's true at that level. So thank you for that. And I've never met anyone as focused or organized as you, and you keep people on track, and you know that I have a tangential mind. So that is a big thing that you've done for me, and you keep it simple.
Thank you.
So it's really making it personal, and that's what happens when you share something at the feeling level, which as I mentioned to you before, I'm a cross between my mom and my dad. My mom's a mystic psychic, and my father's a Christian hypocrite who goes to church in case there's a hell. So that's made me a very good naturopath because I can pick up the intuitive side and use the factual side.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I am blushing and of course laughing because I laugh every time I'm around you. I love your humor and your personality. And one of the things that you shared is that you laughed when you realized, wow, I've been teaching this to my clients for all these years. And I am still caught up in a story that I created, as you said. And so I think that that's such a beautiful statement and a beautiful reaction to what you said. Things don't happen to me, they happen by me. I would love for you to share more about that. But I really just appreciate the humorous and the fun fact, fun side of life that you bring to your work. So when you talked about we create our own reality, and you are here to doctor the reality, but the reality is something that we create, and it happens by us. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that and why you're so passionate about it?
Yep. Okay. So the premise is that I've been working from now for a number of years is that not only are clients creating their own reality, I'm creating my own reality. So I have to become aware of how I'm doing that. It's not conscious necessarily, and start subconscious because nobody ever consciously asks for it to happen, whatever it is, trauma or all of that.
Absolutely.
So I put this belief to the test with my patients. And the only question that I ever really had to ask was, how in the hell did you get yourself in this situation in the first place? Now, pardon me for using the word hell, but may I, may I use a short uh, clinical relationship example, a real quick one?
Yeah, I would love that.
Because you've
Yes.
heard this before, and it'll explain a little bit more about this. I had a 35-year-old woman come to see me, and she was struggling in her love life relationships. Teary-eyed, her voice breaking with emotion, she asked me, "Why can't I find a good man? Why am I attracting the same type of man over and over?" Then she told me that she'd had 5 major relationships with men, all 2 years each. And in each case, they'd be sitting together on the couch watching TV, and he'd reach across and butt out his lit cigarette in her arm. Now, look, I asked her, I, I had to pick up my jaw off the floor because I couldn't find 5 men in my whole relationship with life that would ever do that to even somebody they hated. Okay. So after I finished picking up my jaw off the floor, I told her that the answer was in the subconscious mind, the part of her mind that automatically runs programs, just like your computer does. And what if we could identify the belief or program that the attraction was based on, delete it, and install a better one?
Hmm.
So the outcome would be different. She would attract a different type of man, better program, better man. Okay. So I'm trained in hypnotherapy as well. So we did some regression hypnosis. And I found that in her childhood, she'd been told over and over and over that she was a bad girl. And it had enough times from, I don't remember whether it was mom or dad or both, but it got locked in as accepted as true. So now
Mm.
her reality is being based on a falsehood. Being bad in the subconscious mind is interpreted as needing to be punished. So what did the subconscious mind do in emotional logic? The result of her program was being drawn to men who would punish her. So what did we do? We deleted it. We deleted the need to be punished and installed the new belief that I'm a good girl. I've always been a good girl. I'll continue to be a good girl. And now guess what? She's been in a long-term relationship for about 15 years with a good man
Yeah.
who doesn't smoke, by the way.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh, that
And
is
and,
huge.
and Alana, this is why I do what I do and why I'm putting this stuff out now. I assist aligning the minds, as you said, subconscious with conscious, to create the desired outcome and transform lives. We're in the business of transforming lives now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of the bottom line of it all.
Absolutely. And so I think we talked about this how you retired from being a naturopathic doctor, and being a naturopathic doctor, you saw these patterns over and over, and you helped so many people. And the thing is that now you want to bring it at a deeper scale, working with people to reprogram their minds, like you said. And one of the things that you're starting with is actually the smoking problem. So tell me about this creation, because like you said, she's with a good man that doesn't smoke, and you just so happen to now create a program to help people quit smoking.
Okay, so there are a number of ideas around this. And when you're dealing with smokers in general, they have a number of different qualities that they show up with, and they always have the same type of talking, if you want to call it that, what they put out there. They'll usually say, "Oh well, it's just a habit. I can quit anytime I want." And I would say, "Well, why are you here? And prove it." I said, "Oh no, no, I like it too much." Well, none of them really do, and they don't realize it's not a habit; it's an addiction, and all addictions are run by the subconscious mind. So some of the things you have to change when you're looking at somebody who's smoking is you have to begin to change their or put in different help them change the programming around their self-worth, etc. Because when you try and fail over and over, uh, it really gets to you after a while.
Mm.
So you have to look at things like stress reduction, etc., like that. So you build it up. So you help self-confidence, etc., like that. You teach them how to eat more dopamine, like to support the dopamine. However, at a subconscious level, the biggest thing that you work with is I need to smoke in order to feel good. It's made at that association.
Hmm.
So anytime they don't feel good, they immediately reach for something that the subconscious mind knows will change that feeling.
Yeah,
Does that make sense to you?
absolutely.
And the ones who are the long-term smokers who have tried and failed, if you want to call it that, because they're looking in the wrong places. They're not really failing. They're just looking at not seeing how it's actually being created. They've created an absolute. The only way I can feel good is to smoke.
Mm.
The only way. You have to give
Wow.
them more possibilities because your subconscious mind wants to have you feel good. So it'll attempt to do that.
So do you think, or do you know that if I make an absolute about anything in my life, so this could work with any addiction and with any habit that I want to maybe give up in my life? Is that what you're saying?
I word right at the wrong time, but I would say yes, this is an applicable thing, not just for smokers, but for any addiction that we have.
Yeah.
It's actually trying to help you. This is the thing. When we look at it consciously, we go, well, how in the heck would I do that? In a health situation, for example, you know that I've had people come who their left brain brought them to me because they didn't want to have their diagnosis that their doctors had given them. For example, you have 3 months to live or 6 months to live.
Mm.
But then when I look at it subconsciously, the subconscious mind says, oh, no, no, you need to have cancer in order to feel loved.
Wow.
That's the in order to part, because the feeling dictates. And that's the part that I missed for about 10 years in my practice. Just
Yeah.
telling people what to do didn't do fuck all. Pardon my language. The, and I used to give people reams and reams of things to do, and they would do maybe 3% of it, right?
Wow.
But then I realized I couldn't do 95% of what I was asking them to do. And I refuse to be one of the people that tells people what to do, but doesn't do it themselves.
Wow.
I
Good.
will never ask you to do something that I can't do, or at least I'm attempting to change.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense. Now,
That
the
makes all
smoking
the
thing is
sense
kind of
in the
cool
world.
because the one thing about it is when you, for example, change a smoker's self-confidence and self-esteem, etc. Well, it's not me doing it, it's them. Understand? I'm just a catalyst.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Well, I love what you said because when you say, why would I do this? That's a shame-based question. And so I think that going into a different question, like how can I reprogram my subconscious mind? And that's where you come in. So one question comes from shame and the other one comes from solution. So a solution base would be how can I get to the bottom of this and install or reinstall a programming system that can allow me to change it. I think that that brings a lot of compassion into the equation and grace, which I'm a fan of. So thank you for that reframe. And of course, the answer to that is let's work with Dr. Gatis because he knows how to reinstall and delete programs and start helping us run a program that's going to help us doctor our reality. So I have a question about, I know that you're very passionate about this work and I can see how it's so transformational. I have experienced it myself. And so what do you think is the reason why we need this work in the world? Why do we need, as a collective and as individuals, to be conscious, if you will, of our subconscious programming? And what will that look like if we all did this work, if we all engaged into this awareness?
It's basically because the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, or the macrocosm reflects the microcosm. You know what I mean by that is most of us run fear programs. We're creating our reality from a fear-based base. You can look at what the world is doing now, right? You can't tell me that the average person really wants what's going on in the world, but they feel powerless to change.
Yeah.
The one thing that if the one thing that I can say without question is that when you take it upon yourself to change your world, the outside world changes with you. If you are heart-centered, and you are in particular, so am I. If you come from a heart-centered thing to create a new life, a new reality, or a new world, you have to become aware of these subconscious programs that are creating the current one. When you do that, it's like once you're aware, you're no longer ignorant. You have a choice. And
Yeah.
once you do, you can take action. You move from victim mentality to empowerment mentality, and your world shifts. And when your world shifts, the world shifts. This is how we, oh God, this is how we make a difference.
Yes. Yes. Wow, thank you so much. Oh, I felt that. Everybody write this down. When your world shifts, the world shifts. That's powerful. Ooh, I love it. And our time is up, which is always goes by so quickly. But if you could leave everyone, especially those seeking to improve their relationships, if you would leave us with one thing that we could do, one step that we could take, maybe one thought that you want to leave us with, what would that be?
Well, I'll break it into two. The one is, from a very practical point of view, your subconscious mind not only may be holding you back from the life you deserve, it is holding you back from the life you deserve because it's trying to protect you.
Yeah.
But the biggest one is, as you change, the world changes. As you change your world, the world changes. Start with your subconscious mind, learn about it, use it. That's what it was given to us for.
Yeah.
So your subconscious mind may be holding you back from the life you deserve, and you deserve a better life.
I love it. Thank you so much. And of course, everyone, make sure to connect with Dr. Gatis. Connect with Dr. Gatis at, of course, therealitydoctor.com and online everywhere you can find them. And that information and those contact links are going to be in the show notes so that you can take action and learn more about the amazing programs that Dr. Gatis has available. And of course, he is a keynote speaker, he is an author. So if you need someone to hire for your next event, make sure that you connect with him. I have seen him on stage, and he is a gift to everyone who can hear him speak. So, thank you so much. I adore you. You are a gift. I am really blessed that you're in my life and that you took the time to share this wisdom with us. I hope that everyone understands that they can doctor their reality with the reality doctor and that there is a choice. I love that message.
And choice is key. Thank you so much, Alana. It's a privilege.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time on the Transformational Storytellers Show. Bye bye.